host of Diary of a CLO, I've had the privilege of interviewing a range of awesome and inspiring people. So for this summer special episode, I'm combining the knowledge of a group of real L&D pros to pool their collective experience and shed some light on some key topics in L&D at the moment. Because, as Catherine Nicholson from the virtual training team said when we recorded, we should never be satisfied that what we're doing is enough. We cover learning transfer, upskilling, strategy and neuroplasticity. Listen in and share your thoughts about the future of learning.
So for us, and probably for a lot of people in similar positions, it's about never being satisfied that what we're doing is good enough. So we design and deliver with learning transfer in mind the whole time. It underpins everything that we do. We're really passionate about that. But I think, there was an element of we think that we're delivering great learning transfer. Our clients and participants are telling us that they are. The follow-up feedback is telling us that. But we don't know for sure. We don't have the data to back it up. And we don't know what more we could be doing that could be better. So we've got full of ideas, but how do we know that this idea of doing a particular type of learning nudge is going to have a bigger impact than this different type of learning nudge? So we're we test it, we try it, trial it. And so one of the ways that we're testing that out is in programs. So if you've got a program that's say manage a program across 6 months, at the end of every session, either they set their own action or we set them a work-based task. And then we sort of nudge them, or we set that up in a particular way so that when they come back to the next session, we do an anonymous poll, first of all, to see how many people actually applied it. And then we give them time to reflect on it. But it means that over the course of a program, we can trial different approaches and see how it impacts how many people have actually done their task. And I know that it's not an exact science, because somebody might not have completed their task, not because of the way that the action was set up. It could be that they just we're too busy or whatever, but it's starting to give us some data to help us work out what's working best.
Everyone is talking about this idea that we're like the shoemakers without shoes, and everyone is feeling that they should be investing more in their own learning and development. I mean, we're learning a lot on the job, which is great. Don't get me wrong, that's amazing to have the opportunity to have the role that's challenging enough to learn on the job. But at the same time, what I see that's missing is are these new ways of doing things, picking up from other disciplines. For example, in our community, we talk a lot about, systems thinking, behavior change, marketing, or whatever else we can get inspiration from, wherever else we can get inspiration from to improve our work. And I think that's one of the angles that I've seen a lot of chatter about. And people are more willing to invest in their own learning journeys. And it's also a matter of showing our worth, and showing our worth means that we also need to learn. Everyone who joins our community has one or more conversations with myself, just to try to understand the challenges they have, the solutions they're using, what they're learning currently, what other things they would like to learn. And then once that's very clear, we also tap into learning methods or spaces where they feel more comfortable. Are you feeling more comfortable in a one-on-one setting, in a group setting, whatever? So it's just trying to learn as much as we can about our own learners. And once we do that, if we decide that a one-on-one setting would be more useful for our fellows, we move on and curate people. I think I've shared that before, but when it comes to curation, I think there's a lot of curation that we can do. It's not only content curation. So we are trying to tap into this people curation part as well. So what we do is, for the mentorship program, we curate 3 to 5 profiles for each fellow from a mentor group that's already there. So we already have mentors waiting to be assigned to a mentee. And then we nudge the mentee to make a decision about who they would like to work with and drive the conversation as time goes by. So yeah, I think we tie a lot into the challenges that the fellow has and the experience that the mentor can come with. Those are the two things we look closely at.
Historically, the challenge has been, I think a lot of L&D strategy is built with content first, right? I have content here, and that dictates what you're going to learn, when you're going to learn it, where you're going to learn it, right? So the content is what's driving that. And what that results in is essentially the risk of you pushing the wrong content to the wrong person at the wrong time is very, very high, because it's a bit like playing L&D bingo. You know, I'm calling out a number, and you know, in an organization with 10,000 people, there might be a few people who've got that number, but most don't, right? And every time the numbers don't match, you're essentially wasting time and money, and none of us can afford to be doing that. And so to avoid a situation where learning essentially right now feels like an interruption from work, and because it feels like an interruption from work, people are reluctant to engage and invest time, and therefore employees don't. And you know, if you look at stats around anything other than mandatory compliance training, it's a telltale sign that your kind of traditional LMSs have really failed to engage people and deliver value. And so the question really is about, let's not start with content. Let's start with the employee, right? Let's understand, you know, what does this employee need? You know, what are their skills gaps? What are their career aspirations? What are they working on right now? Where are they working right now? And start with the employee and let the employee dictate what you learn, when you learn it, and where you learn it.
How do we activate your brain in the moment so you have that very intimate, you know, oh my gosh, yes, okay, yeah, now I can understand and realize that is a working piece of like crazy complex. The most complex thing on the planet right now is our own brains. So how can we create moments for you to interact and experience that? But at the same time, as the journey continues, we want, and when I say we, I'm talking about myself and the board of advisors. I wanted to ensure that as you're going through the journey, you're gaining skill, you're practicing actively within the series. And I've designed in ways for you to then take that into your daily lives in very practical ways. If you're out talking to somebody, if you're at the grocery store, if you're at a party. But it's one thing that I find that a lot of these courses are missing is that you've got practical application, but at the end of the day, learning and memory is about changing a brain. And that's not as easy as it sounds. So if we want to increase somebody's ability to attend to something so that they can focus better, if we want them to understand the metacognitive process and to regulate what they're thinking and how they're thinking and how to, you know, manipulate that, well, then we can't just give them the information. We have to strengthen the neural networks. We have to create the neural networks in order for that to happen in somebody.
So I always talk about neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is a term that relates to essentially how plastic the brain is, which means that it's moldable. So, you know, the reality is you're not stuck with the brain you're born with, and you can change it by choosing to learn and choosing to take a purposeful path in a direction. So if you imagine you wake up every single day and you do the same things, you go the same journey, the same job, same decisions, same everything every day, you can't really expect your life is going to change. If you choose actively to take a different route, try a new thing, live a slightly different way, try a different diet, try a new routine, try a new job, or try a new challenge, you will find that your brain is literally physically changing, but so is your life, because you are choosing to have conscious inputs, and those conscious inputs will drive more conscious and more impactful outputs.
but being able to respectfully challenge ideas and really innovate together is something that is really critically important to future workplaces and organizations. And we need to ensure that future skills cover that as well. A lot of the future skills stuff that I see at the moment is all around the digital piece. How do we manage digital? And I think we're missing something critical here around the future skills of human connection that are based in dialogue, and it's not being given enough airtime.
What did you think? How are you shaping your strategy or creating space to upskill? Connect with us or any of our guests to continue the conversation.